Why'd you take so long to come to me? Oh, baby. And love, love, your love. Tell me, were you hiding from me all the time? Each time I tried to find someone to take your place, it was all in vain. No, the lips were never quite the same. No, baby, when I was kissing someone new, deep inside I was missing you. Oh, baby, you made me fall in love with you. I don't know just what I'm gonna do. Oh, honey, I looked out into empty space, and all I saw was your sweet face. That's right. Love. You can't imagine what you do to me, oh baby. And love, your love. Every time you smile, it goes through me all the time. Day by day, I'm falling more in love with you. And that's no lie, cause from my heart and honey, I hope to die.
Music.
I'm trying to
Two sounds of love.
Baby girl, I really need you.
Universal in love, always.
I got to get you off the song right now. You still jamming to the song. But good evening, my brother. We back, man, for another special edition.
Oh, without a doubt. It's been a while since we've put this on people for a long time. They've been waiting to hear the metaphors of love.
Unmute your mic.
It is unmuted. Is it muted on your end?
It ain't on my side. Let me make sure it's on my end. This is our first time back doing Metaphors of the Lord. We listening. We want to make sure we coming in right, and that we live, man. We got I'm gonna be going live here in a minute with TikTok. Yeah, we're gonna go live here in a minute with TikTok. So y'all give us a minute and we get this thing going. Like I said, it's been a minute that Tim and I done this particular show. We just got through doing the sports show earlier, but we are in the building because we got quite a bit to talk about. We want to certainly get into the situation with this Cardi B versus Diggs. Tim, can you hear me now? Is your mic on?
Can you hear me?
Okay, let me I'm good on my end. Just check your technical stuff on your end. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna get us going right here real quick. So again, this is Metaphors of Love. Are we listening? I'm your host, Jabril A. Rashad. I know many of you guys heard me do a post earlier regarding Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. You know, her NFL wide receiver boyfriend who played for the New England Patriots. There was a lot of things that took place this, about a week or so ago when they played the Super Bowl. And she's come out and made a statement now because, I think one of the rappers, one of her contemporaries, she didn't like the fact that she was trying to shoot at Stephon Diggs. But as I said, these things happen. These things, they go on. And, it's kind of crazy when they say the rabbit is no fun when the rabbit gets the gun. And this is what kind of have taken place. So, we got to talk about it. This is Metaphors of Love. Like I said, I think we haven't did this in probably about a year or two. No, over a year. It's been about 2 years now, right, Tim?
It's been about 2 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me cut you up. Can you hear me, Tim? That's what it is.
I can hear you very well.
Yeah, I think it's been about 2 years, man, since we did Metaphors of Love. So we just got through finishing doing the sports show, which is on Roku. I want to remind you guys before we get into this that we are live right now, but we just did a pre-recorded sports show, which we normally go live. But we have an app, we have ad agency, so you can go over and download the app absolutely free. You'll see the green and white banner on Alice Slam Worldwide TV. Alice Slam Worldwide TV, you will be seeing that scroll across the bar. pretty soon here. But again, it's absolutely free. Download that. You'll see Wise Sports. That's where you're gonna see all the sports and entertainment content. We're not just gonna do sports, we're gonna do content that concerns other issues that we want to talk about, such as this. This is not actually bringing Metaphors of Love back. I just want to do a special edition, unless, you know, I'm asked to and people want it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have to wear it in the water because believe me, I got a lot going on that I'll be talking about in the incoming months that I'm really working on behind the scene. But again, my brother, we're talking about it, man. We are talking about Cardi B first and foremost. Then we're gonna get into these crazy breakups that I've been kind of sharing with you. You know what's been going on behind the scene, and it's been some crazy stuff, man. Like the lady who I think they said she texted her boyfriend like, I don't know, like 100,000 times or whatever it was, you know, and they wind up arresting her because she just went crazy, man. And we got to stop it, fellas, man. We got to stop making these women, man, you know, come out of their emotions. But Tim, let's talk about this Cardi B and this Stephon Diggs. So the word is on the street. So I heard the word is, man, that Cardi B went to the Super Bowl and ran into the other mothers of wide receiver Stephon Diggs by the New England Patriots. Now, it wouldn't have been an issue, I would assume, and I hate assuming anything, but according to the news outlets, she had this, you know, after party, you know, venue prepared where she pulled that dropped like $1 million. Now, I don't know who does that. $1 million, Tim, on her new boo. On her new boo. I don't know if she spent $1 million on Offset, to be honest with you, but that's another story for another day. But my point is simply this, though. Cardi B spending that kind of money on Stephon Diggs, and the word on the street is even his teammates said that they wouldn't even let their sister date Stephon Diggs. And now she's upset because the other, you know, children's mothers was at the game and she didn't like, you know, I guess the seating arrangements, and she wasn't the spotlight. And I said on my post, and I stand 10 toes down on it. You know, I don't think, of course, I'm only going off of what's being reported. I don't know the backdrop to it. I'm only going off of what I heard, just like the rest of us. And if that is the case, and I think he even came out and made a statement, if I'm not mistaken. But if that is the case, you know, there's what they call spars of war. And what goes around, what comes around, goes around, that kind of scenario. Well, in this situation like this, if he already has children, that's a part of his life, a part of his DNA, previous obligations with the children's mother, and they have a cordial relationship. You know, I don't know if the other children's mother want him back. I don't know any of that. I'm only just looking at the optics of what's being said. And if that is the case, I'm simply saying, Tim, do he have a right to address his children's mother's other children's mother the way they said he did, by being cordial, making sure she got the right seat arrangements and so forth, without Cardi B exploding? Talk to me.
You know, it's a shame in this world where people think loyalty has to do with cutting everything else, the rest of your life off, where you can't have love for nobody else but the one person, right? And it's not about having love, it's about how you express the love. That's the true thing about it. You gotta have, you know, like a horse got bridles, and you put the thing on the face of the horse, only do certain things, right? Same thing. You got to have limits of how you express your love with people that's not your wife or your girlfriend in this instance. So with that, that has nothing to do with though being nice and bringing her and having to the game and all that kind of stuff. He ain't expressing love. I mean, in that way, he expressing friendship and care, right? Bring him to the game and all that. So unless he did something that, you know, like let her sit in his lap or kiss her or you know, did something that's actually intimate with her, having her there, long as no disrespect was done to Cardi B, shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. Because all you gotta do is make sure Cardi B knows that, hey, I got love for you, That's just children's mother. They there for the game. Boom, boom, boom. And my kids are there too. I don't know if the kids were there, but I would have my kids there too. So if the mothers had the kids there as well, because I don't know the full story on that part, because they didn't address that part about the kids. See, that would make a big difference. They're there with the kids. Cool. They there watching the game. Somebody has to look after the kids watching the game. So if you got your kids there watching the game, watching you playing the Super Bowl, and then okay, if your girl is there, of course she may feel a little uncomfortable with those situations. But as long as everything is cordial, it shouldn't be a problem. That's my thoughts on that.
Well, it shouldn't be a problem, Tim. It shouldn't be a problem. And so many times, you run into these I don't even want to use the word baby mamas. I just don't like that word, especially if you have a real mature relationship with your child's mother. Why do we have to use such derogatory or negative type terms, right? Because the word mama or mammy, comes from the breast, the mammal, where the baby would breastfeed the mammal. And really it's a European type of term, because they used to always say, give the little white child to the slave woman and put her against the mammy, meaning the mammal of her breast. So the scriptures give you mother. You don't see mammy or mama anywhere in the scriptures. It says mother. So let me just make that correction. It's like correction. But when you talk about African American, we're just talking about us, because charity starts at home, then it spreads abroad. I'm specifically speaking about us. When you have a cordial relationship with your child's mother, oftentimes you don't get a lot of that. What you do have is a lot of back and forth, a lot of arguments, as in the case of PJ Washington of the Dallas Mavericks, right? He goes to pick up his child. There are some confrontations, some back and forth, indifference at the front door. He can't even get his child and get in the car. And then you have his new woman, or his wife, I should say, because they are married now. And what's her name? Brennan. She couldn't take it. She couldn't mask the situation and did a poor job in front of the child. All he was coming to do was to pick up the child. It was his time to get his son to be with him and his new wife. But there and again, it has to be showtime now. Like Showtime at the Apollo or something. We got to put on a show for the cameras and those who want to watch in the public viewing. But when you have a situation where you got a cordial situation, and I don't know if this cordial situation have been going on prior to CARDI or not, but she has children of her own. So if you're talking blended family, there has to be some communication going on. It can't be a lack of communication. It has to be communication going on. I know it's the Super Bowl, all eyes on me, one of those kind of things. This is Cardi B. And this is where the ego gets played up more than it should be, because you think now it's about you, because you're the centerpiece. You're at what they say, you're Shenosha now. You want to be the center attraction, because this is Cardi B. People are in the stand, people are watching, but you don't want to be showed up. You're making it about yourself and not the children. Again, I don't know either, Tim, if the children was there or not. But what I am saying is, according to the reports and the way she was responding, it wasn't correct behavior. Let me put it like that. It wasn't correct behavior. And you have to monitor yourself in situations like that, because again, the writers are there. The policy, they are there. They're looking to write some type of story or narrative about your new relationship with your new boo, and in this case, Stephon Diggs. And again, normally I would, if I saw anywhere where I felt like Stephon Diggs was foul in what he did, I would say so. I would address it. I'm just basing this on the reports that came out. And again, it's like, okay, if he has a close relationship with his children's mother, then you should be accommodating. This is his biggest stage right now. And I'm quite sure he don't need his mind distracted on that. He definitely don't need his mind distracted on that. But at the same time, emotions plays a lot into it, right? And then you have the backlash of what you have. And so he come out saying, well, you knew what it was before we got together. Now you get the back and forth. So I'm saying, Cardi B, you just come out of a situation. See, this is another reason why you don't rush into situations, women, ladies. You don't rush into situations on the rebound, because it's situations like this right here that can be more non-conducive than conducive, because it's a situation where you know, you're trying to balance everything because you have young children of your own. Then you look at Offset, right? He was married. That's why I said in the post, she had a husband. And you've heard me say 1,000 times. A lot of times people think the grass is greener on the other side, but it gets brown in the winter. Because the same thing that you had to go through with Offset, I don't know if you really did your homework. Tim, we play ball, so we understand what a scouting report is. And y'all heard me say this before, ladies. You heard me say this before about understanding your manual. Your manual. Manual is spelled MANUAL. It has man in it. That's like your scouting report. Understand the manual. You go from one situation, which was a hot frying pan, into another situation, which is a hot frying pan. Knowing that he already had children by other women, several different women. Knowing that he's a NFL baller, if you will. You knowing these things. So you're young, Cardi. Offset is young. And men, it takes us a little bit longer to develop, to evolve. So if you think you was going to leave that situation to go over here, thinking that he was going to be ready, this is where the whole nursery rhymes, if you will, start to come into play, Tim. We right here talking to y'all, guys. This is Metaphor of the Love. Are you listening to special edition with Jabril Rashad and Tim Jackson? We're talking about it right now. So, Tim, speak to that, man, in terms of her leaving Offset, leaving that situation to go over to another situation that was not conducive.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. People, so many times, let me go from a different direction. Energy. I'm coming from energy. Energy match energy. And so when she got out that relationship, she's in pain. What's going on with her and Offset? And so she's emotionally want to match up. And actually, he gave her all the things that she needed, all the romance and all that stuff to get them started on their relationship, right? And the energy match, but the other energy matches as well too. All the little hyper and the attitude and the chaos that she has inside, which is probably what was going on with Offset and all the other relationships. And you can see it in how she talks and her music and all that. Though she wants to keep her calm side, he matches energy. His energy is competitive as well too. So if she comes with a competitive energy, which is rap is a competitive energy. That rap energy comes in with a man who actually competes for a living as well. So both of them compete for a living, one through rap, through words, one through action. It's going to match it. And so she can't come up with that energy with a man who actually whole livelihood is how well he competes. And so that energy matches, and all of a sudden it becomes turmoil, it becomes chaotic. And the whole growth is learning how to navigate that, right? And you can't navigate that if you're going spiritually on a lower level. You're going to lower your level to base where you're saying, hey, these women are here, and you feel insecure,
right?
Or you feel like you're not lifted up by him enough when he keeps displaying all these different things to you. So he's showing you all the different ways he loves you because he's been giving a lot of gifts as well too. As much as she been giving him, he been giving a lot of stuff to her too. So if they're gonna play these games, it's gonna be game time. And if it's game time, ain't nobody end up happy because it's a competition.
Right. The competition, the plot is gonna figure. So that's gonna carry us into our first song, Tim. I want to get to this song right here that I think kind of surmise what we're talking about tonight, right here on Metaphors of Love. Are we listening, dealing with the Cardi B and the Stephon Diggs situation? Let me see if I can't find this particular song, because you got to have songs, man. And for those of you all who don't know, we talk about these songs, these classic hits, because again, I think words have meaning. Words are and can be advantageous, and it takes on a whole nother meaning when we understand the songs. The words that comes with these songs. Y'all give me just a second.
While you drumming that up, I'm gonna summarize that one quote I was making. Even if one of them winning, the other one's losing in the competition. You can't compete with your love. You can't compete with your love.
Y'all stay with me now. And you can chat out in the comment. We're gonna answer all your questions, comments, or whatever the case may be. But this is the song Leaving Me by the Independents.
Oh, darling, after all this time, just seems to me, girl, to be changing your mind. We don't talk no more like we used to do. Oh, what in the world has come over you? Leaving me, oh baby, can't be. Tell me, baby, I wanna know. Let somebody say, leaving me, got your clothes back, baby. I want you telling me, I want you to go, baby. Baby, listen here. Lately I felt that you avoided my conversation. You would turn on the TV, yes you would, leave me in aggravation. I just don't know what I've done to you. But whatever it is, child, I hope one thing can't be true, and that is.
Oh, we just getting started, y'all. We just getting started. That's my guy. That's my guy. In fact,
yes, I am. Sometimes I'm on. Oh, no.
Shout out.
You don't know what
Jesse Jackson passed away.
Don't know what it's doing to me, baby.
Knew that or not. Who sang
no.
Independent? That song right
Girl,
there.
if you only knew what was going.
Let's talk about it. We just getting started. That is the Independence. The song is Leaving Me, in case you all didn't know. So he talked about the communication. The communication have been cut off. That is no longer, you're no longer communicating. And we hear this time and time again. Without communication, there can be no reparation. As it relates to the relationship, I'm just keeping it 100. I want to give a shout out to my boy DZ. Derek Zeno is in the house with us this evening on Metaphors of Love, and then we're talking about it. D, chat out in the box. We're definitely talking about this relationship thing, man, this evening, because everybody had a little love week, and we want to make sure that we all for the love thing. It's the love train. I should play that song right there, the love train. We want everybody to get on the love train. But that's if the love train don't have no haters on it. Because you don't want to ride somewhere, man, it's a bunch of haters on the train, do you? No, you don't want people, spoiling your trip. You got people on the train and they arguing amongst themselves. You can't even enjoy your trip. You see what I'm saying? But you play a song like that right there. Leaving me can't be. What you're telling me, I can't see. You know what I mean? The communication, man, has to start somewhere. Two wrongs, they say, never makes a right. You can't get a negative out of a negative. You see, to get it to equal to a positive, you got to have a negative and a positive post, right? Even if you're trying to crank up your car, it's not going to start. So somebody has to become the listener. Somebody has to become the respondent. Somebody has to be patient, because it is impatience that causes the friction in the first place. Everybody want to get their point in. Everybody want to be right. Everybody want to be heard. We understand that. But at the same time, what is all of this referencing when we're talking about in the good of the relationship prospering? Because if the conversation has become diluted and there's no personal adjustments being made amongst the two individuals, then it is dead. But to run out of a situation and you haven't really identified what the issues really were in the relationship, and maybe it was infidelity. Okay, let's just go there, because that's probably, between that and finances, that's going to be the number two things right there, right? And as I stated earlier, Tim, I said there are still young people evolving, because most relationships when you're in your early 20s, man, is basically almost like animalistic. What do I mean by animalistic? Meaning that it's moving on instinctive behavior. These are impulse movements. They ain't rationalizing, if it ain't all going the way we thought that it would, when bad time arises, what do you do in that situation? So it's not going according to the way you thought, basically, right? Now you're ready to run out of the situation into another situation that you still haven't vetted the process. Women do this more oftentimes than men, because if men get really hurt in a relationship and we're real vulnerable in a relationship, and that woman because they always say, man, you can go be with 20 different women, but it's always that one woman. If you can't get that woman right there back, it's kind of like when R. Kelly wrote the song, When a Woman's Fed Up. You can't get that woman. Forget about the other 19. You're talking about number 20. If you can't get that woman right there, that's when things start to go awry, so to speak. So, Tim, I'm talking about Cardi B. That song, Leaving Me, the communication. He can't get no communication. It's been dissolved. I mean, in this situation, it is what it is. But speak to it.
It's funny. Conflict resolution. That's the whole situation. Conflict resolution. And so many people, that should be an education. That should be educated in schools, actually. So we learn how to solve problems, but we don't know how to solve problems that have to do with our emotions. And so many times, the development of our emotional ability to actually solve a problem once we become emotional is a problem. So in sports, you compete, you get all emotional, right? And you get emotional and you compete. So you put that energy all in emotion. That's not a relationship. You can't do that in a relationship. You can't make it competition. As I already said, competition, one person gonna win. If somebody wins, both are losing. Somebody lose, both are losing. So that's a competition. Conflict resolution has to do with how you work together to find some way to resolve conflict resolution. So resolve the situation in a way that actually keeps respect is the main part. That's the main part first, is respect. Because once respect go out, and a lot of times it goes out of respect because it goes out with emotion. Men value respect more than they value anything else. So once a woman emotionally gets emotional and then disrespect the man is no longer what he was before. His conflict resolution go out the door unless he's really, really wise. And if he ain't really wise, which most immature men are not, as you spoke to earlier, when they're not, they come back and they give you tat for tat. That is not resolving anything. What happened is more pain comes out of it, more lessons are learned, and then more scars are put in place. And the more scars are put in place, they build up, and pretty soon you blocking the blood. You can't even, you about to have a heart attack in this relationship. It's gonna die. It's gonna stop beating. The heart gonna stop beating in this relationship. That's why we talk about this, because this is special, because this is what? Love month. So we just bring this in for love month, because we talk about we need your heart to keep beating. But one way to keep the heart beating is when you get emotional, you gotta dissolve your emotions, lower them tempo a little bit, so you can then be respectful to each other.
Part of saying, I think about music, the word love, right? Love, that what comes to mind. The love aspect of it. And I don't know if they truly understand what that is, especially in this day and time, because again, in the match, out of a man, I don't know if the report is true. She spent 1.2 million. I know they say, it ain't tricking if you got it. It ain't tricking if you got it. It's in a situation that I could think of things to do. Someone that really, I don't use that language. You do things better. And I hate using that word, but it ties into all the other. You haven't put a ring on it. You're not engaged. See? And so herein lies the issue. You spending that kind of money to invest in a relationship where it doesn't seem like, at least he's not, based on the reports anyway, he's not looking at it the way you're looking at the situation, and you're willing to spend out that kind of money and invest in that type of relationship when it seems like maybe you should have did it. I don't think it could be mistaken. I know I haven't fact checked this, and I don't like putting stuff out that I had fact checked, but I don't think he had any children. I think the children he had with Cardi B is his first children. Somebody fact check that for me. I'm not for sure about that, but they children by the kind of money that you invest with this guy right here who's already got children, who's already been around. You look at his brother, and I know apple don't fall that far from his tree because he sit there and have a baby with a girl, baby by Bow Wow, Future, and several other. And I don't know why, the sake of me, they running in the same circles. They are running in the same circles, man. That's crazy. I'd rather go get a girl over in the DR, Dominican Republic, that work at the banana stand before I go and run around in Hollywood like that. Why? So you can claim that I hit the skins too? That's just, to me, that's not rational thinking. That's just not rational thinking. And so when you look at somebody like Cardi B, I mean, I think her background really says a lot. You know, she was in the club stripping before she became a rapper. Now, people change. I'm not trying. People evolve, people change. But consistency and truth is always going to be what it's going to be. It's never going to compromise. Truth is not in the compromising business. You understand? Truth is not in the compromising business. It is what it is at the end of the day. And so when you look at someone like Cardi, you say, okay, is she making the best wise decisions for not only for herself, because she can't right now, she has children that are involved. So if you're going to do the blending family thing, that means you got to be all embracing. You got to embrace the other mothers. You got to embrace what he got going on. You got to embrace the whole situation, the extended family. So I don't know if she was actually prepared for that part of it. Once again, going back to the basics in the relationship, which is one of the reasons why you see time again people in these relationships, because they don't probe enough, they don't do their homework, they don't ask the right questions. They ask questions, but they don't ask the right questions. Why? Because it's just like Janet Jackson said years ago, pleasure principles. If they're following those pleasure principles, those things are going to supersede everything else. Everything else, like in the movie The Matrix. You know, I'm kind of like a Matrix. Now, I really, the whole trilogy, I watched all three. But there was a part in the movie The Matrix, he was sitting at the table, and he's talking to his wife, Persona. I think her name was Persona. And he was talking about the drink they made in the cup that was given to her. She drank it. And he said, the only thing, it stuck out in my mind, the only thing at this, but I'm kind of paraphrasing, but the only thing that comes about at a situation like this is nothing but the pleasure principles, because it overrides the thinking. It overrides the mind. So all is left is the pleasure principles. And that's just animalistic and instinctive. And as I always said, you think you special because you walk on two legs. But let me remind you, a penguin walks on two legs. A dog can get up on his two legs. A bird can get up on two legs. So what's so big about that? What separates us from the rest of the animal life is the ability to reason, to think, and to rationalize things through. When you don't do those things, you are acting out animalistic. Your functions is below nature, and you get what you get. That's one of the reasons why I'm saying I can't go to bat for Cardi. I can't feel bad for Cardi. For what? For what? So let me shout to everybody over in the chat box right now. We got Rose Jones. How you doing, Rose? Rose say, how y'all from Texas? Yes, this is Texas. This is Texas. You know, this is that state. I don't know if you in Texas or not, Rose. I don't know if you are. I would call you your yellow rose of Texas. Okay, but thank you for joining us right here on Metaphors of Love. This is a special edition of Metaphors of Love. Me and my guy Tim, we haven't done this in a while, so we thought that we'll treat you guys. Getting back to this, because actually we a sister ran into us at our civil rights program that we went to, and was really asking about the program when we was gonna do it again. So I'm glad that she asked us. I said, you know, why not? It would be a great time to do it since all this stuff going on that's in the news that's being reported. So Tim, we're gonna stay on this for about another maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're gonna transition over to these crazy breakups. This ties into the Cardi B, and then we'll get into another song. But Tim, go ahead and speak to that.
Well, you know, at these stages you're talking about it's men, but women, celebrity women are in the same stage as well too. Because I've had actors friends that I knew of who said that their biggest groupie was actresses. Okay, so when you think about it and reflect a deeper level than just, hey, okay, yeah, that's who they're around, so that's what goes on. But they say their biggest groupies are actresses. And what goes on is that that's the same circle. That's that same circle deal. But not only that, you're talking about conquerors, right? Men, when they're conquering, when they have that mentality, it's about their ego. What do? They don't have the discipline needed to actually say, okay, I'm gonna leave this one alone, I'm gonna leave that one alone. No, they conquer. They want everything that somebody think is hot. Everything that's hot, they want, right? And so, so when you a celebrity, you got all that money. What do? You try to conquer everything you can get your hands on, right? And so once you, even with men, there's a reputation that goes on of those who are conquering at the time. So women have to be kind of careful of those. Those other guys who play back and keep their smooth and here and there, but they still doing a conquering thing as well too. They're just quieter with theirs, right? Then you got the women. They want to conquer too because they're trying to get that one that they really want to actually be their husband. So they try to pick and choose. And sometimes they end up going through the circle trying to find the one. And sometimes they're trapping because once they get in the circle, because one thing about it, when you become a girlfriend or the wife and you become the ex to that one, you're still in the circle. And so what happened is when they still in the circle, they go around the circle. And so that happens so many times to people. So you're wondering why, and this is the other part of it. Discernment. Discernment versus conquering. So when a man moves into discernment, or a woman moves into discernment, they start to make better choices and wiser choices when they're using wisdom, God's wisdom for their discernment, right? So when you look at that, now you start to decide what's best for me, how the best make a relationship work, who should I be with, what characters should they have, right? What do they value and what's their morale? Shit, when you conquering, these people ain't paying attention to that. Diggs, both Diggs, ain't paid attention. PJ Washington ain't paid attention. All they was doing was conquering, ain't paid attention to discernment, wise discernment, God's discernment to make a choice on what should be in their life. They out here conquering and they getting, hey, and they pocketbooks. Oh, it's gonna hurt the pocketbooks when you in that mode and you got money. Somebody's gonna be thinking about how to get your pocketbook. So that's why these guys sometimes don't even choose, like you said before. They don't choose a woman around because everybody seems to be out in their pocketbook. So they say, I'm just gonna stick in the circle that I know. No, learn some more, get wiser, educate yourself, read, start to understand people and what true character looks like. You learn it in sports. Part of sports is actually learning character and actually getting with people and actually coming together to come as one to win a championship. But then you got the outliers out there, right? We got our outliers who actually don't conform and just do what the heck they want to and still get a chance to win something. So we may be talking about the outliers.
Yeah, I think it well, and that may be very well true. We're talking about the outliers, man, because the simple fact that, like, again, Cardi B, and not Cardi B. I mean, if you take roll calls, a whole lot of them out there, man. A whole lot of them out there that continue to make these mistakes and will not look at the blueprint, or they think that the women that came before them, I guess they feel as though they're gonna do better than them, or I'm not, that's her, that's not me, I'm not gonna make the same. Well, I don't see it changing. And Tim, we did a whole thing about the numbers in our community alone, just the African American community, regarding the women who was unmarried, in terms of divorce rates, in terms of African American women who were not. I mean, this thing was crazy, the numbers that we was putting up. And I say, man, this is, if you go back to the 60s, what the 50s and the 60s, when we was a little bit more close, a little bit more united, we was moving on up in the world, so to speak. Our families were together. We stayed together as a community. We didn't allow individuals to penetrate our communities. We were impervious to what was going on. People couldn't just come in and take our kids and say crazy things, and do what they're doing. We didn't have, there was a certain, and I like using the word black print, not blueprint. There was a certain black print to this. I mean, because there was a custom, there was traditions, there was things that we actually followed. And now it's gotten to the point to where you see the assimilation is so bad to where they don't know if the tree is upside right or upside down or right side up. And that's that's sad. That's sad because if you compartmentalize each topic, I mean, just go across the board with it. We could talk about a gamut of of situations and circumstances as it relates to the African American community. Right now, we're just only talking about the relationship aspect. But please, let's don't get into the homes that don't have fathers in them and children who are fatherless, and the list go on and on and on and on, where they have made us, for whatever reason, to be the poster child of what's going wrong here in America, which I do reject, because I think some of it is propaganda. But at the same time, when you look out in society and you see these things constantly happening, and here it is, you talking about for those who take this narrative or subscribe to this, that we shouldn't be having African American History Month. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because the same results are the same results, man. You're talking, it really is insanity, right? Because we're still doing the same old two-step, and the numbers still say the same. And I'm a numbers guy. So again, when we do shows like this, yeah, it's a part of a little bit of entertainment in it, but at the same time, we're talking some real history, some real facts, and some real conversations need to be had when you have individuals like Cardi B. And I hate, just to put her up there as if she's the only one. I'm just simply saying you made the wrong decision. Sometimes it's not going to be all what you expect in a marriage. A marriage is a business. It's a business. It is a business. I know what they told you, that it's a spiritual institution, and it is. But it's also a business, because men, first and foremost, are the maintainers of women. This ain't my words. This is scripturally. Men are the maintainers of women. That don't mean that you have this conquering spirit that she has to be subservient to you. No, she's obedient to the Creator's command only if you're taking care of your business as a man. See, and that's where it really starts. And we get sidetracked. Why? Because the ego begins to play up, thinking that, oh, okay, she better do this, or she better she better not do anything other than to do what God has instructed her to do, first and foremost. And then you can't lead her if you can't lead yourself. How can you lead a family? Yeah, a woman will follow a man, a good man, wherever he's going. However, you have to engulf that. You have to be that. Women have to see that. But again, everything gets emotionally charged when it doesn't play out in the public viewing to your liking, for all the world to see it now. So now ego jumps in, and once ego jump in, I'm telling you, man, there's an issue with. I mean, it runs awry. It runs awry. But Tim, that's the 4 to 3 minutes we got up on this, man, because we got to transition if we're going to get to these other songs and this other topics. So y'all stay with us. Y'all chill out in the comment, because again, we are happy to be back to be doing this special edition right here on Metaphors of Love. Are we listening? Again, that was the Cardi B versus the Stephon Diggs situation. Let me see what Miss Rose put up there. She says, teach. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's me or if it's Tim. We both gonna try to teach tonight. All right, it's been a minute. Y'all can see I'm feeling a bit good. I usually don't be this hype like this. What's going on? Am I just glad to be doing this again? Yeah, I love my people, man. I love my people. I try to make a difference the best way I know how. So we're gonna transition over to the thing, another topic, Tim, I want to talk about is the crazy breakups. Now I got to give you some backdrop to this one, Tim. Got to give you some backdrop. Give me just a second. Okay. I want to make sure I get anybody comments up. But I got to give you some backdrop. Y'all chat in on this. Some of y'all may have gone through something like this. I won't tell you. I won't call you out. I won't tell your names or nothing like that. I'm not gonna put you on blast. but so Tim, I want to talk about crazy breakups, man. Crazy breakups, right? So this is gonna be, I think, a learning opportunity, right? I think for everybody, because I think guys go through this. I think as well as women go through this. So a friend called me, and I was happy that the friend called me. I mean, I really do. I feel humbled and I appreciate if someone finds something interesting that I may say to help give them a different way of seeing it, then that's discharging my duty, right, as a believer. So I take that very seriously, right? And it just hurt my heart to see individuals who have to go through situations like this. So let me give you a little backdrop. So she's dating this guy, and the guy borrows her car and gets intoxicated, wrecks the car, brings the car to the house, don't say anything, She's needing her car. Then when he eventually says, "Oh, I might have hit something," of course, what's the first thing you're gonna do, Tim? You're gonna go outside and check on your car to see, okay, what did you hit? She goes out, checks on the car, she sees the damages, comes back in, they have a conversation about it. Now, instead of this individual just saying, "Hey, babe, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have been behind the wheel," da 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 da, he takes it personal. Remember, I told you about ego. He takes it personal. Well, one thing leads to another. They get into a heated argument, and there it is. There it is. That old game that old Satan Shaitan been playing for years. He done caused a riot, an internal riot. So they gets into it, and here is something that I don't ever condone, especially when it comes to us as men. If you feel as though the conversation is not going in the direction that you feel a need for it to go, and you feel your sensitivities are starting to raise, then just take a walk, go outside. First, you can go into another room if you can make it to another room and just sit down for a minute. And if you still feel the same way, then lay down. Or other than that, just go outside and take a walk. That's not what happened. Speed the story up. So as the story goes, before she looked up, he just started breaking stuff. Broke her TV, snatched the TV off the wall, put up her clothes, throw bleach on her clothes, tore up her because she worked remotely from home, just vandalized her apartment, right? So she has to call the authorities. But now he's gone before the authorities get there. And so I'm getting all this information, right, Tim? And I'm listening. Try to be a better listener than a conversationalist a lot of time, because I want to make sure if I'm going to discharge my duty, I want to make sure that I'm giving the right information based on what the situation calls for, not of my own self, right? And I'm thinking, I'm turning the pages of scripture in my mind. So as I listen to it, I don't really want to react to situations like this simply because, Tim, you and I both know we've seen situations where a woman will swear up and down that she's through with the situation. She's done with the situation. And then the minute days go by, maybe weeks go by, the guy calls back because you ain't answering the phone the first 72 hours. It's like, I don't want to talk to him. All right. And you start to get lonely again. So now he finds a way to, hey, that wasn't me. I don't know what happened. Somebody put, this is actually what was saying. Check this out. I just thought about this. Somebody put something in my drink. Somebody put something in my drink. That's the excuse we're using. Okay, we'll go with that. So I'm telling myself. So at the end of the day, Tim, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to address this because I know there's two sides to every story, because truth is always straight and it's non-negotiable with me. So I need to know, how did the conversation go and what sparked the conversation? So I get that information. Long story short, to wrap it up, I sat back and I said, he's gonna call. At some point, he will call. Now the question is how are you going to respond to it? That's why I named this Crazy Breakups. So I want you to think about that, Tim, because I'm gonna play this song right here. Let's see how this one go right here, Tim.
Tell me what's wrong with you now. Tell me why seem to make you happy, though heaven knows I try. What does it take to please you? Tell me just how I can satisfy your woman. You're driving me wild. Break up to make up, that's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me. That's a game for fools. Break up to make up, that's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me. That's a game for fools. When I come home from working, you're on the phone.
Okay, now let me, because I know tears about to come in y'all eyes. That's why I wanted to stop the song. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it out in the chat. I can feel it with you, Tim. Y'all getting emotional on me now. I need y'all to stay with me because he talked about, and Tim, I want you to come in on this right here because he talked about make up to break up. That's all we do. And that's the game for fools. For fools. Make up to break up. That's all we do. And then we come back around, right? To start all over again doing the same thing. But is that not insanity, Tim? Is it not insanity?
Over and over again. There's so many relationships that have done that. And usually the end part is they break up. That's the whole thing. Because their whole relationship is based on passion. It's a passionate relationship. That's what's going on. And that's a bit of trust. Think about this though. At the beginning, she loaned out his car. Not loaned out. She actually gave her car to him to go somewhere out with the fellas or whatever, have a good time. That's some trust from her. So that says a lot about some parts of their relationship that she has that much trust for them. Now, the part coming back, he didn't tell her. Why he didn't tell her? Because it's an old story about you lied to your main chick. So he's still in that, he in that conquering stage, that low level, vibration level. He's still at that stage because he was scared to tell her his truth, right? He waited till the next day. So that offends her the next day. It's going to offend him more on the next day. He should know that. He does know that. Yet he's so fearful he don't want to tell the truth because he now disappointed her. Because she trusted him, he disappointed her. So now he disappointed. So then come back. He can't admit it with his ego that he disappointed her, right? He goes in and have an argument with her about the damages or whatever, instead of coming in and saying, hey, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to do it. And then he come back later and make an excuse for what happened to him, why it ended up happening. Either way, he should have been wiser than that, but he wasn't. Okay? And then they argue, right? He then gives her his sweet nothings. You know, he whispers in her ear to get back because they make up, they break up to make up, and that's all they do. Well, the foolish game they play, showing their love, you know, passion, because they're a passionate relationship. It's a passionate relationship. They keep showing the love that they need. Actually, that passion, if passion was always needed, that relationship probably be in great place. But that passion also goes the opposite way. When they heat it goes back to not having good conflict resolution, and then also the discipline that's needed in our relationship, keeping each other respecting each other. That's where the pain comes in. So the passion comes in, moves to disrespect. Now they don't want to be together, but they want to be together, but they want to be together because they haven't learned how to respect each other, be disciplined enough, and to have the best discernment of wisdom in their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I know, man, and I know when you know you've known a person for so long, and I'm not talking about those individuals who've been, you know, you're financially invested, spiritually invested, you know, you invest in a relationship. So sometimes, you know, there's a give and take, and there are certain exceptions to the rule. Those types of relationships you have to really fight for as long as they're not abusive relationships. Because I don't tolerate any man hitting a woman. Now you might keep her at bay and keep her off of you. She's just losing her mind and she's just lost, all self-control, you might have to, hold on to her till she calm herself down, things of that nature. But when it gets to the point to where now you become deranged and you start wrecking stuff and vandalizing stuff and tearing stuff off the walls and who, because we hear about it time and time again. As I shared with my friend, I said, some women don't make it out of situations like that, especially if someone puts something in his drink, quote unquote, right? You hear we hear a more detrimental things coming out of situations like that. So count it as a blessing. Count it as a blessing, and be very mindful. And I'm speaking to all women that's watching this across Texas and across the United States. Again, we're not on. Y'all normally hear me talk about Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick, Google Play, iPhone, Android, all of that. We're not on that platform tonight. That's a platform where you have to go over to the television network, which is Alice Slam Worldwide TV. Download the app. It's green and white. You'll see it. That's where you see all the other content that we're going to do and what we've been doing to build this thing out. So we don't have to necessarily be on these platforms, the Facebooks anymore, the YouTube's doing this. I'm doing it because, again, I wanted to be able to tackle certain subject matters without having any boundaries or parameters placed on what we're doing when you have sponsorships and agents that you have to be mindful of. Here, we're just candidly talking about what we need to talk about, and we're doing it that way. But again, a lot of times, certain situations, women don't make it out of situations like that, and that's horrific and horrifying to even think about something happening like that, especially to someone that and they're good people who doesn't deserve to be in a situation like that with anybody. I don't think no women does, but if you allow yourself to go back into the situation when you don't have anything invested, because it's not like they have children together, they don't have any financial things invested together, things of this nature. These are conversations I'm talking about. It should be easier to walk away unless you have what they call a base urge relationship. And what I simply mean by that is everything is a little bit below the waistline. If you have one of those kind of relationships, then you'll probably wind up seeing yourself in situations more and more like that. And you have to be mindful of those types of relationships, because those relationships I'm telling you, are built on the wrong foundation. They're not built on the right foundation. And if you're building a house, everybody knows that foundation has to be laid right, because if not, it's gonna fall apart. It's gonna lean. You're gonna have some foundation problems. So you have to make sure that you land your foundation properly. That's the first thing before you start talking about putting up a house and building and sheetrocking and roofing it and all of that. You got to make sure your foundation is being laid properly, because again, crazy breakups, like that, when it becomes, erratic and vandalizing, and the potential of someone striking you and all that. Now you got to draw a line in the dirt, especially at a certain age, because some things we should be past. I mean, some things it's like, going to watch a movie. It's some movie we probably watch. If you put Love Jones on right now, I'll go and watch it. If you put Best Man on, I'll go and watch it. Because there's certain movies that we enjoy seeing over and over again, right? We even know the dialogue. But those are the types of movies that brings a good feeling to the soul, not movies that's going to be, detrimental to the soul, like What's Love Got to Do with it, So we got to be mindful. We have to be mindful. So I want to make sure that, again, this is Metaphors of Love. Are we listening? We're only doing an hour of this show, so y'all stay with us. We got about 20 minutes. I want to play another song, but I also want to talk about something else. We talked off air about Tim and I, because this just came on me the other day. I wasn't aware of this. Tim told me it's been 2 years running with this concept of what they call Galentine's Day. I don't know if y'all heard that. Chat out in the comment if you heard of Galentine's Day. I think it's where the gals get together. They say, "Yeah, they want anything to rhyme with." Well, let me tell you something. We'll come up with something, won't we? We'll come up with something.
Before you start, let me tell you this real quick. It actually started in 2010 off a movie, and it was done as a joke where the women got together.
Okay.
And that's how the Galentine started. But it gained momentum in the last 2 years. In our community, it's really picked up. So that's when I came aware of the last 2 years. It really picked up in our community. But it started back in 2010. They started and it just gaining momentum over time, especially with the lack of conflict resolution that's going on within our community.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm hip to something that I didn't know. Again, I didn't find this out until Sunday. I'm in a place and in walks 10, probably about maybe 9 or 10 single women. Single women walk in, and I'm kind of questioning, like, because I don't know. I just from the optics, it looked like they all had on red and white. So I'm thinking, are they deltas or there's somebody's birthday or something going on? Exactly what is it? And I was told it was called Galentine's Day. So I said, what is Galentine's Day? So I slowed it down. I said, oh, I guess it's for the gals. So it's supposed to be Galentine's Day for the gals getting together. I guess to exercise their love weekend in case they didn't have a date or somebody didn't ask them to be their Valentine. So it got me to thinking, because I had to bring it up. Tim and I was talking off the air. I said, man, now look, I don't know if this is just, I don't know, something to do. I don't know if it's something to lift up the esteem. I really don't know, but I think it's much deeper than that. I think, and y'all can help me out, ladies. Y'all may know about this than I do. But when I look at it, I'm saying to myself now this has to be, because I'm looking at the hands now. And if I'm not mistaken, only one woman had a ring on. Only one. But I'm looking at the hands. So these are single women. And they was nice, attractive women. But I'm asking myself, have we gone to this deep in the ocean to where now they have to get creative to have some type of social connection? Because you don't have, or you're not with the one or someone that you want to be with, right? And I'm thinking about this, Tim. As it pertains to us, again, charity starts at home, then it spreads abroad. I'm not thinking about a lot of other community. I'm talking about us right now, getting us. Man, let me tell you something. If you got 10 single women walking in, and there was a question mark on the one that actually had the ring, I'm just thinking, like, okay, there's already more single women, right? We have African American women have the highest rate of single women than any other ethnic group. This is and this is on all levels, man. This is a travesty to me. It really is, because I wasn't aware that this was actually happening, and women are coming up with ideas to connect with because they don't have that individual in their life. So let me come over to, before you answer to that, Tim, let me come over in the comment and see what I'm getting over in the comment. I didn't see my guy, man. Let me tell my boy Curtis Blow is in the house. He's in the building with us, man. I didn't see him. I'm sorry, my guy. He telling me to leave it alone, bro. Blow, I know. Blow, I'm gonna tell you something before you answer that, Tim, because Blow and Curtis, I call him Blow, y'all, because I think he's the real Curtis Blow. For everybody who remember the rapper Curtis Blow, that's what we call him that growing up, because that's like my big brother. But he always asked this question. It was one of the questions that was asked in the movie, I think Love Jones as well, that people come together, but tell him how to stay together. I should play Al Green, Curtis. I don't know. I might even do that. Why do people break up? Why do people make up, right? A brother Al said it's all right with me, but Blow, we can't leave it alone simply because it's happening. And in order for what? Evil to prevail, good people do what? Absolutely nothing. So we got to talk about this thing. And your classmate, Lolita, she say, what's happening? Class 81, man, they in the building. They in the building. But yeah, Blow, we got to talk about it, man. And I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I felt it when you first said it. I felt it when I first heard it in the movie. People can get together, but tell me, how do y'all stay together? Man, if we can crack the code on that, I think we'll be I mean, we will see such a tremendous stride that have been made in the community if we can figure that out and crack the code. But let me come on to Tim, man. He's been waiting to answer this this thing called Galentine's Day. Galentine's Day.
It's so funny. You know, it was meant as a joke done in the show, right? So kind of get a little backdrop. We started talking about things. It started to come out. You know what? Let me do a little research on this. So it was meant. The date is supposed to be the day before Valentine's Day. It's supposed to be on the 13th. But I promise you, we don't do nothing anybody start out with in our community. If something starts out on say the 13th, no, in our community, it's gonna be on that day because you know what? More events happen on the day of Valentine. So those who want to socialize are gonna find a reason to get out on a date. If they can't get out with a date, they're gonna make a date. So what our community is doing on the light side of it is that they're getting together to socialize with a group of women that they like and have fun, right? That's on the light side. Now we go back to the deeper side. This is why we're here, okay? We're not here for the light side because we understand it from the light situation of a nice social event that people are getting together, women are getting together and having a good time, okay? And if you want to keep it light, then the fellas should actually be there too. You know, all the single fellas, if the women are going to be doing that on Valentine's, you may be able to meet one of them. Come on out during that time as a group of men and you can maybe meet some women. So it's a new date, meet and greet. So that may be a solution to that situation if we do it that way. So single people being able to get out and about at the same time, come in groups of men, groups of women, and then boom, try to figure out a way to actually date each other and not be selfish and actually blocking out for people.
But hold on for a second, Tim, because I want to go with what a Lolita, because she said that it's a friends girls thing and that guys need to be doing that. Lolita, hold on. I can't let you, hold on. I got to get Lolita because when she say that guys need to be doing this, expound upon that because I can't see guys getting together calling it, I guess what we would call it, Valentine's Day with a B. I don't know.
Valentine's Day, I don't know.
I mean, because some guys, as in the case like of a Stephon Diggs, might have his choices, right? Not saying that women don't. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just simply saying it just seems like as it relates to African American women, whether if it was Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve or even other holidays, those who are not involved in relationships seem as though they always get the short end of the stick. So now they got to call up their friend or girlfriend and quiz them on what they're doing that evening. And it makes me want to ask this question. Is it actually something that we can actually change? I know if DA was on here, he wanted to tackle the Cardi B thing, but if Daryl Alexander was on here, he probably say, I know he probably would say, there's no way we can change, give up. That's why Blow probably said, leave it alone, bro. but it's hard, man. It's hard when I know there's so much good in us and so much excellence in us that we see things that's constantly taking place that affects our community, right? I can't go with the narrative that there's no hope. I believe we just have to be able to fight a little bit harder and be patient with one another. But go ahead, Tim, finish your statement regarding the Galentine's Day.
Well, see, I hit the light side right there. So that's the fluffy social event, go and boom, have a good time with your friends and enjoy yourself, right? But see, there's a bigger picture to this situation. And that bigger picture says failure, not success. There's a failure in our communication, in our community to actually come together as man and woman, right? This is one day. It should be actually 365, right? Love is 365. It's every day, right? But if we want to highlight, because that's what we do sometimes, we highlight. So this is a highlight day, okay? A highlight of love, not love isolated, but highlight of love, right? So you highlight this day, and it's a failure when our men and women are not together. So what does it say about our community that we can't communicate? Just like you can ask all those girls and all that, you can't tell me you can't find a man to actually have a communication, have good conversation with. But you know what? I will give it to women on this part. Maybe their discernment is getting a little bit better. Maybe they're not choosing the Pookies and the Ralphs and the Georges and the
maybe
and the Tyrones. Okay, maybe they're not choosing those, and they being patient and waiting on the right ones to appear in their lives, and that then they won't be making all these bad decisions like the Cardi B's who jumped out of a relationship like that, right? She jumped out of a relationship and went into another one, and she still got the same drama she had before, right? So maybe they'd be a little wiser, but I don't think that's really the situation. I think it's about them having a chance to get out and about and have fun, and then not worrying about, if their man gonna call them. So the insecurity part.
Let me
if
shout
that
out.
man gonna call them, the right man they want, they ain't gonna
Hold on,
call
Phil,
them.
let me
So
shout out.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna do something different.
Yeah, but let me shout out Deborah Simpson in the house, man, because she got her comment. She's commenting. I got to shout out to my girl, Deborah, man. She's in the building, man. She's in the building. She normally probably would have been on this with us had I reached out to her, so don't hold that. But she said there is hope, Tim. Yeah, there is hope. See, she's thinking positive. Blow, Deborah is thinking positive. You know what I'm saying? You say, give it up. Deborah say, there is hope. There is hope. And so let me see what else Deborah said. Oh, she said, I agree with Tim. She's laughing. And then she says, absolutely. See, that's what I'm talking about. We can't give up. We can't give up. In fact, you know what? A song just came to my mind. Y'all bear with me for a second. Because I'm gonna play this song right here, which is another classic. I'm gonna go with this right here because this lady said this song when she sung this song. She said some words in this that I think are profound, that we probably didn't pay that much attention to when she came out with it. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Yeah, here go one right here. I think she said it all when she said this right here about love. This to Miss Diva say what she needs.
To ease my mind, I need to find someone to call mine. But Mama said you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. You gotta trust, give it time, no matter how long. But how many heartaches before I find the love to let me live again? Right now, the only thing that keeps me hanging on when I feel my strength, yeah, it's almost gone. I remember Mama said, no, you just have to wait.
That's what she said. That's by Donna Ross. You can't hurry love. You just have to wait. It is being patient for what you want. You can't hurry love. You just have to wait. Just time. But we don't want to do that. See, we want to accelerate. We want to mash on the gas. We want to speed up the process. But let me put up my good brother Eddie Shaw here, what he said. And I definitely believe in this statement right here that in religion, God is the love. You understand? God is the love. And then what he's talking about is being God conscious. Let's talk about that for just a second. Being God conscious, because I mentioned earlier about what you build your foundation on, what you build your house on is going to have cause and effect. You build it on the right foundation, you're going to have a right home that you built your house on. You build that house on the wrong foundation, then that house is going to start doing the Watusi. It's going to slide, it's going to crack, it's going to eventually fall apart, it's going to become dilapidated. So absolutely 1,000 to my brother Edison here, we have to be God conscious, because I spoke about that once before. But the best reason to marry is to be God conscious. You can marry for love, you can marry for money, you can marry for fame, you can marry for fortune, you can marry for beauty, you can even marry for sex if that's your option. That's what you choose to do. But if you ask what is the best reason to marry is when you're God conscious. God conscious. Well, you asked Jabril, what is God conscious? Just being mindful. Being remindful that there is a creator that's always watching, that's always ubiquitous, that's always omnipresent, always. Nobody escapes from this, and you still think you got this thing called life figured out. Wrong. I'm telling you now, you're building your house on the wrong foundation. That's half the problem. That is half the problem right there with so many people. You don't have the right tools to use. So the brother Eddie Sahir, he hit the nail on the head. God is love. You build it on that right there, then you got a solid foundation. But again, Donna Ross said you can't hurry love. You can't hurry love. You got to give it time. You got to be patient. But I know when you're younger anyway, the biological clock is always ticking. And it takes so long for men to get themselves together. Some of us, not all, because I do not paint nobody, including women, with a broad brush. Because there are always exceptions to every rule. And a lot of times, y'all know as well as I do, they don't necessarily give out the best examples. So they'll run up, with the camera and the microphone to a Cardi B. They'll run up with the camera and the microphone to a Glorilla. They'll run up with the microphones to these women who don't represent the best of what we have. They always want to go to the ones who do not represent the best of what we have as in an African-American community. And this is the reason why we have to help change the narrative. We have to help change that narrative. And if we don't do it, if we go into silence, then the evil will prevail. The evil will conquer, subjugate what God has placed and put asunder. He don't want no one to break that apart of what he has put asunder. So we have to be remindful of that. We have to be remindful of that. And I'm going to stay on that tune, and I'm going to keep that tune going. Now, what I need from you all, this is the special edition of Metaphors of Love. If you all want us to do this again, I need y'all to chat in the box. Yes, maybe I do it once a month. But if y'all don't want me to come back and do this at all, I won't do it, because it has to be what the people want. If I don't see the sister again at the civil rights program, I probably wouldn't even done it. But because she said, Jabril, I miss you and Tim doing this. I love the songs. I want y'all to do it again. And I thought about the Lolitas and the Debras and the Donnas and all my good friends and the friends who was in situations. One of the other situations I didn't talk about, I won't talk about it, because I'm just going to mention a little bit. Got a son, by an individual. He don't want to be a part of the equation anymore because she don't want to be with him anymore. So you take it out on the child. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. We got so many conversations that we can have just on that alone. So again, if y'all want to do this, we'll do this. And I think those who've been riding with me from day one, I call them my day ones. We've been doing this for a minute and did this for 3 years. I didn't even go on TikTok because, again, and I'm shout out my cousin because he's been saying, man, please bring your show over to TikTok. The only thing about it, see, you're getting headaches over there. You got to sort out the trollers and all that foolishness. And I'm too old for that right now. I'm settled, my spirit is settled. I don't want to do that, y'all. Please, but y'all know I love helping. Y'all know I love helping. But again, I got love for my people, man. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So again, I enjoy doing it because it's a part of my makeup. It's a part of my constitution. But I'm not gonna hold y'all long because it is the time for us to wrap the show up. But I got one last song, and we'll go out on that song just like we came in. And y'all know this song right here. And y'all stay with me because this is how we came in. This is my intro, one of my favorite songs, because it helps me and should help us not to forget. No matter what happens in life, love is always at the forefront. You can get through anything if you just remember songs like this. Not like this one, but like this one. It's throwing me up some crazy stuff. I don't want to play that song for y'all. Y'all probably like, Jabril, what are you doing? Oh, man. Y'all give me a minute. It's been a minute now. Y'all know it's been about 2 years since I've done this. But y'all know this is one of my favorite songs. We come in on this and we exit on this. And we'll be back and do this again. Y'all just chat out, though. Let me know we can do this again and talk about it again. I got much material to talk about. I'm always in the traffic and information business, research and stuff. Make sure that we stay on point. But y'all tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be on Tuesday evenings. I do a sports show on Tuesday evening. But I'll come back with this too. This is the great Donny Hathaway. Y'all remember love is so special.
Love. Why'd you take so long to come to me? Oh, baby. And love, your love. Tell me, were you hiding from me all the time? Each time I tried to find someone to take your place, it was all in vain. No, the lips were never quite the same. No, baby, when I was kissing someone new, deep inside I was missing you. Oh, baby,
Come on, check that out with me. Y'all sing that.
Fall in love with you. I don't know just what I'm gonna do.
I know my love.
I looked out into empty space. All I saw was your sweet face. Love. You can't imagine what you do to me, oh baby. And love, your love. Every time you smile, it goes through me all the time. Day by day, I'm falling more in love with you.
Y'all, let me tell you, it's been great. For the first time back in 2 years on Metaphors of Love, I want to thank y'all for joining Tim and I for Metaphors of Love. We will do it again. I see a lot of people come in saying yes. So I want to thank y'all. Curtis Blow, Medlock, my boy, my big brother, my homie from day one. Y'all don't know how far we go back. We go way back. That's my brother. To Lolita, Donna, you know, Deborah, everybody, Miss Rose that came on. Y'all tell a friend, and we'll come back. We'll come back next week or the week after. Y'all just let me know. I got some spiritual thing that's coming up. I got a 30-day fast I got to do. I love him because God gave us 11 months. Surely we can give him 30 days. And I'm looking forward to it. So it makes me a better me so I can be better for you guys in the future. And if it takes one, in the words of Martin Luther King, since this is African American History Month, I cannot be what I'm supposed to be until you are who you're supposed to be. And you cannot be who you're supposed to be until I am who I'm supposed to be. So that being thank y'all for coming on the special for the love. Go there, download the app at your app store, Al Islam Worldwide TV. We are a television network, and I look forward to doing this again. Peace and love, y'all. We out.